Today I'm heading from Washington, Kansas to Neosho Gardens in Council Grove to pick up hanging baskets, patio pots, and vegetable starts for the farm. Along the way, I thought it'd be fun to share some fascinating stories about the small Kansas towns, the Flint Hills, and even the communities that disappeared beneath Tuttle Creek Lake. So come on, let's go. Once we leave the farm, our first stop is Greenleaf, Kansas. Greenleaf is a tiny farming town with deep Czech and German roots and a population of about 350. Communities like this were built around the railroad and remain centered around agriculture. Wheat, corn, soybeans, and cattle are grown in the surrounding area. The community has strong Catholic roots and a beautiful small-town church. After leaving Greenleaf, we head east to Barnes. Barnes may be small with a population of around 150, but it reflects the railroad era that shaped so many Kansas communities. This quiet agricultural community was named after A.S. Barnes, a New York publisher and railroad investor. Home to the Always Christmas shop located in a 1909 bank building and the antique shops within the Sunflower Mercantile. You can also enjoy delicious home-cooked meals and pies at the Hometown Cafe, which was featured on Sunflower Journeys, and I highly recommend. We've got a restored park in Barnes containing the smallest bandshell in Kansas, which was built in 1939 by the WPA. Annual events include the Antique and Junk Fest held on the third Saturday in August and the Lighted Horse Parade, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving. As we continue east, we encounter Waterville, Kansas. Waterville is a charming town with a population of around 650. It was founded in 1867, which makes it one of the oldest towns in Marshall County, and it's at the western end of the Atchison and Pike Peak Railroad. Cowboys on the Chisholm Trail drove cattle to the railroad terminus. Though it began as a rough cow town, Waterville is known today for its unique small businesses, beautiful Victorian homes, and the preservation of the town's history, including the 1903 Opera House, 1905 Weaver Hotel, Depot and Caboose Museums, Central Branch Railroad, and enjoying the scenic views of Lake Idlewild. Waterville still has a classic Main Street feel, with buildings that have stood for more than a century. Waterville's been home to Traveloot, Travelong, Trailman, and Titan trailers, and has some of the most remarkable welders and manufacturers one can find. Travelong and Titan are still there today. South of Waterville on Highway 77, we drive through the unincorporated community of Cottage Hill. This represents the many tiny settlements that once served surrounding farm families. You see here the Tuttle Creek overflow area. Tuttle Creek Lake was built after the devastating flood in 1951 to protect downstream communities. Entire communities disappeared when Tuttle Creek Lake was created. Churches, homes, and schools were torn down, and today some of those town sites lie beneath the water. Those include Claiborne, Garrison, Stockdale, and the original Randolph. We do drive through Randolph, as it is today, on Highway 77. In 1855, Gardner Randolph believed he had laid a claim in the Big Blue River Valley. It wasn't even a year later that J.K. Whitson decided he wanted to lay claim to the same area. The two men fought. As it turned out, neither man had followed all the necessary laws for claiming the land. After winning a race home from the claim office, Whitson was declared the rightful claim owner. He had the town of Randolph's name changed to Waterville. Later, a legislative act in 1876 was signed to change Waterville's name back to Randolph. In 1886, Randolph's population reached 293 and was incorporated as a third-class city. This city was settled by many Swedish and German descendants. Many of the people were great limestone builders from the old country, and this is why you see many original rock structures in the area today. Randolph grew into a beautiful and progressive little city through the years in the Blue Valley at the mouth of Fancy Creek. However, it did not live on forever. In 1960, the Tuttle Creek Reservoir Dam ended Randolph and 10 other neighboring towns. All the towns along the river in the counties of Riley, Pottawatomie, and part of Marshall are now under the water at the Tuttle Creek Reservoir. Some traditions, families, friendships, land, farming economy, and memories were lost forever. However, many people said their life in town wasn't going away, just moving. We're now on the outskirts of Manhattan, which will be the largest community that we drive through today. Population around 55,000. Manhattan, or the Little Apple, was founded by abolitionists from New England. It's home to one of the nation's leading veterinary and agricultural research hubs, and it's where cutting-edge agricultural research meets college town energy. It's also home to the Wildcats. We're now south of Manhattan and coming up on the Konza Prairie Biological Station. The Konza Prairie is more than 8,600 acres of native tallgrass prairie and looks much like it did hundreds of years ago before settlement. Less than 4% of America's original tallgrass prairie remains. Continuing south, we're driving through the Flint Hills. This absolutely gorgeous area is the largest remaining expanse of tallgrass prairie in all of North America. One of the reasons it has been preserved is because the rocky flint soils prevent widespread plowing. So, being too rocky to farm has preserved one of the rarest ecosystems on Earth, and I am so grateful for it. Just off the highway is Alta Vista, or a little town on the prairie, which has a population of around 400. The name Alta Vista means high view, and it enjoys sweeping views of the Flint Hills. It's known for its strong ranching roots and beautiful limestone architecture. It's also home to Ag Heritage Park. As we travel on, we come into Council Grove. Now, Neosho Gardens is actually at the north end of Council Grove, so you won't get to see the historic downtown, but this town was a key stop on the Santa Fe Trail, and the entire downtown is a National Historic Landmark District, so it's definitely worth the drive to see. It's home to the historic Hayes House 1857, one of the oldest continually operating restaurants west of the Mississippi. Council Grove is named for the 1825 treaty negotiated under the Council Oak between U.S. commissioners and Osage leaders, granting passage along the Santa Fe Trail. And here we are arriving at Neosho Gardens. Well, we've enjoyed these 10 plus acres of greenhouses, we've gotten our plants, and now it's time to load up and get ready to go deliver. As I was finishing the last of the plants, I realized that I had 2 more racks that were in the far south house. I was so thankful that there was an empty vehicle that I could go grab those racks with and drag them back. Trailers loaded, we are ready to go deliver. Just north of Council Grove is the Council Grove Lake, which was built by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in 1964. It was created for flood control, recreation, and water supply. Here's another view of the Tuttle Creek wildlife area. Believe it or not, the water seems sparse now, but there's been many years where this has been nothing but water. There's no dry land to be seen. We drive through Waterville on our way back home before we head north to Hanover. Hanover is a small agricultural city in Washington County with a population of around 700. It's known as a little bit of Germany on the prairie, and it's most famous as the home of the Hollenberg Pony Express station. This station was built in 1858 by Gerard H. Hollenberg and has served as a crucial stop for the Pony Express and is now a state historic site. This is the only unaltered Pony Express station left on its original site. St. John's Catholic Church was constructed entirely of local limestone in 1868 and is a must-see, with its original pipe organ still in active use today. We've now arrived at the Farmer's Daughter, and it's time to get these gorgeous plants unloaded. Today's trip wasn't just about picking up flowers. It was a journey through Kansas history, from tiny railroad towns to the vast Flint Hills, and from communities now hidden beneath Tuttle Creek Lake to the historic streets of Council Grove. This route tells the story of the people, land, and traditions that helped shape our state. Now, I'm excited to get home. We'll see you in the next one.